This time on PFDAuto, pulling the engine out once again. Need to cut that cross member, need to make some room for that slave cylinder. So, let's get cutting. All right, well, the engine is out once again. Now we got all kinds of room to see what we need to do. First things is this area here. It is at too much of an angle, so I need to get rid of some of it. I'm trying to figure out how exactly I want to do that. I'm thinking I might slice it, cut it, see if I can't push it down, retain some of this factory lookingness, but I'm not quite sure if that's going to work. I was thinking about maybe just cutting it out completely, having it refabbed in. Haven't quite decided, but we're gonna have to decide soon. After that, we got to start tackling this here spot where the slave cylinder obviously hits the side there. You can see the scratches. The problem with that is the pedal box is right behind that. So we might have to end up moving the pedal over. I'm going to try to make it to where it's not a tight squeeze, but I definitely need to make some room there. So I'm going to make some decisions where we're going to cut, how we're going to cut, and then start cutting. So after some deliberation and talking to myself a bunch, I decided I'm going to get rid of this whole chunk here. You can see I've got some tape up there. My plan is to cut down straight on each side and just get the whole thing out of here. So you can see I've got a line. I'm going to cut across the front, cut across the back, and then we should just be able to pull that whole piece out, get the engine down where it needs to be, the transmission lined up with the drive shaft, and hopefully then we'll be in a good shape. All right, now to see if I cut all the way through. Doesn't appear so. So I'm gonna have to figure out where I missed and cut some more. Well, small snag. Everything's cut, but we've got all these little spots where I think there's little rosette welds, whatever you call those, where you drill a hole, connect it, which probably means there's some blocking in here, but I'm gonna have to drill all of these out first before I can pop this off. So I'm gonna get at that. Doesn't appear to be anything behind that. I don't know exactly what's holding me up then. Well, that's all loose. I guess I'll keep going at them and see if it makes a difference, but it's hollow in there. So I don't know what would be holding me up. Got all of my welds loosened up here. Now a couple whacks with this hammer, should be able to see what's in here. It's loose. Ta-da! All right, so it looks like some extra pieces that need to get cut off or bent down. I'll probably just bend them down into there. Then we can come back in here and plate this up, weld it back together. But for now, I'm gonna get the engine back in and we'll figure out where it needs to be. So now that we got all this cut out, should give us substantially more room. We're quite a bit lower here. That'll line us up back there just a little bit better. Give us a little bit more room between the valve cover and the hood. So now I'm gonna stuff the engine back in here for a minute. See about getting it lined up, since it's not gonna be but probably a week or so before I have somebody over here to fill this back in. Well, all right. Cross member cut, engine back in the bay. Still sitting on these bottle jacks. But you can see, I don't know if you can see, but we've got a lot more room back here. I can actually stick my finger in there. Let's see if we can get this aimed here. I can stick my finger in here. We got clearance. Even with a piece of 3/8 plate, should have a lot of room. So, much better. Got that whole angle piece out of the way. This side I got just cardboard stuffed in there just to be extra sure. Transmission's up where it needs to be. About as close to that rubber piece as I can get it. That brings us nice and straight with the drive shaft. Oil pans mostly level. So I think this is actually where it's going to rest. I'm going to throw the hood back on and see how much more clearance that gave us. Hoping we can get a hood pad on there. Let's see. All right, hood is back on. Now the moment of truth. Was it actually worth it? Let's see if I can get you in here. And almost no different. I can get 2 full fingers up there now, which is a little bit better. And I'm thinking we can actually bring this whole thing down a little bit more. I won't know for sure until I get the plate in, but our angle's correct, our height is good, everything's lined up, so this is definitely better than it was. And I sure hope it was worth it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. I know, seemed like a lot of effort to get this one little piece out, but I wanted to make sure I did it right. I asked some folks. Looks like I cut it pretty square. Hopefully, it gives us the clearance we need. Transmission's already looking way better. So I'm going to get that engine finalized, make sure it's in its spot where I need it, and then I'll start fabbing those mounts. Once I'm done with that, we'll get them out to the 3D scanner, get them machined up, and we can finally get this engine transmission mounted to the car. That'll be a huge step for me. That's going to do it for today, though. So I really do appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments for me. We'll see you next time.